Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and today is Saturday, March 7th, 2015, and we are continuing with our series of Dragons of Tarkir spoilers. We have 9 new cards that were spoiled over the course of yesterday evening and today, and wanted to bring that information out to you. Just as a quick reminder, it's a good time to subscribe. We'll continue to put these videos out every day that there are new spoilers released up until we get the full set. At that point, we'll be doing a full set review as well. And our first card is Ana Frenza, Spirit of the Family Tree. The photo here was spoiled as a Spanish language card, and it was translated to whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, bolster 1, and she's a 2/2 for 2 white. So because she's a legendary creature, I think that's going to hurt her chances of making a crossover into standard. She'd be great in a white weenie or Selesnya weenie deck. However, having the legendary clause is going to make her a little less desirable. She's going to be fine in limited, and she's going to probably shine more in commander and casual games. Our next card is Hidden Dragon Slayer, 1 white and 1 colorless. He's a 2/1 lifelinker, and he has Megamorph for 1 white and 2 colorless. When he's turned face up, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater an opponent controls. And this is yet another example of some relatively cheap removal they're giving us in this set, and they're trying to keep it at the uncommon and rare level for the most case, with some exceptions. However, it totally makes sense because they're giving us these huge dragons, and there's a lot of dragons we've already spoiled, and I know there's more to come. Really, the players do need the tools to deal with these dragons. This is an interesting card. I think that it could be in a white weenie or white weenie Selesnya standard deck if one exists. It's a great limited card, a fantastic limited card. I like the fact that even if you just get a 2/1 lifelinker for 2, there's value there. And then on top of it, you have the possibility to megamorph it to make it larger and also to possibly destroy a creature. So there's a lot of versatility there. Some of it's a little bit contingent on the born state, but even so, it's still decent. Our next card is Dragon Lord's Prerogative. 2 blue, 4 colorless. It's an instant, and as an additional cost to cast, you may reveal a dragon card from your hand. If you do so, it's uncounterable, and the effect is draw 4 cards. So draw 4 cards for 6 mana. And it sounds expensive, but you got to think Treasure Cruise, a lot of times we were spending 6 mana to get 3 cards. So in standard, a control deck, they need more cards in their hand. They need to win on that card advantage, and they're going to put out a lot of lands. Control decks obviously are very land heavy. So this is a card that I could see really fitting into a standard control deck and being the engine for some of those decks. So keep an eye on this one. This card could go up in value if it finds that home. As far as limited goes, it's a fine limited card to play as well to get some card advantage. Acid Spewer Dragon, 1 black, 5 colorless. He's a 3/3 flying death touch. He's got Megamorph for 2 black and 5 colorless. When you do flip him, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on each other dragon you control. So we saw the red version of this yesterday, and now the black version showed up. So it looks like this is a cycle of cards that almost feels like a mini Dragon Lord to help you buff your other dragons. He's not super powerful on his own as a 3/3, but a 3/3 flyer with Death Touch is great in limited for that price. You're not going to play him in standard or constructed. Collected Company, 1 green, 3 colorless. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. Put 2 creature cards with converted mana cost 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So this card, again, if there's that Selesnya weenie deck, it could find a place in there. As far as limited goes, if you're playing a lot of small creatures, there's some good value here because the cards do go directly to the battlefield as opposed to your hand, and it's also an instant. So I like the card. It feels a little bit pushed, making it an instant. It's not going to be for every deck. It's a little situational, but it can work out in probably a lot of limited decks. Ruthless Deathfang, 1 black, 1 blue, 4 colorless, 4/4 flyer, and he's a dragon. Whenever you sacrifice a creature, target opponent sacrifices a creature. So not going to make it into constructed, but he's a fine limited guy, 4/4 flyer, and he's got a built-in grave pack, so nothing wrong with that. He's actually a pretty powerful limited card. And our next card is Swift Warkite. He's 1 black, 1 red, 4 colorless for a 4/4 flying dragon. And when he enters the battlefield, you may put a creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your hand or graveyard onto the battlefield. The creature gains haste and then is returned to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. So kind of nice if you're pulling something out of your graveyard, you get a possible dash effect with it, and then it returns to your hand, or else just getting basically a free dash effect when you play him, considering he costs 6. So again, he's not going into any constructed decks, but yeah, he's a 4/4 dragon for 6. He's going to be yet another limited bomb. And just like the previous card we saw, he's an uncommon dragon. These dragons are going to show up a lot, and they're going to carry some power with them. I think playing Dragons of Tarkir is going to feel a lot like Battlecruiser Magic. There's going to be a lot of big creatures coming out pretty quick. Going to be a lot of removal flying around. So it's going to be a very interesting format. Our next one, this is an interesting card, Savage Event Maw, and it's another uncommon dragon, 4/4. He's the red-green version, with red-green and 4 colorless being the casting cost. Of course, he's flying, and whenever he attacks, you get to add 3 red and 3 green to your mana pool until end of turn, and also mana doesn't empty out of your mana pool as the steps and phases end. So here's my thoughts on him. Okay, you just paid 6 for a 4/4 flyer. Do you really need 6 more mana at this point, or is that just a win more? What exactly are you ramping to? So in this case, he's not going to make it into constructed, obviously. He's going to be more of a limited card. However, what did we learn yesterday? If you haven't seen the recap from the PAX panel, you may want to go back and watch the video we did yesterday. But we did find out that this fall, the next fall set and the next block is going to be Battle for Zendikar. So we know there's going to be Eldrazi. And now I just cast this guy for 6, so assuming I have 6 mana on the board or 6 lands on the board, and then next turn maybe I play another land, now I have 7, and I attack with him and get 6 more, and I can cast something for 13 mana. Sounds like an Eldrazi. So I'm not saying this is going to push him into standard contention necessarily, but you got to kind of think about that implication. Like, that's kind of neat, you know. So I feel like this is maybe a seed that's planted for helping us drive out some of these large Eldrazi creatures this fall, but it remains to be seen. Right now, like I said, he's a 4/4 flyer. You're going to play him unlimited. And our last spoiler today is Enduring Scalelord. He's a 4/4 flying dragon for a green, a white, and 4 colorless. He's another one of the uncommon dragons. And whenever one or more +1/+1 counters are placed on another creature you control, you may put a +1/+1 counter on him as well. So again, he's not going to blow the doors off standard or anything like that. He's just another really fine 4/4 flyer for 6 with a little bit of a bonus ability if you're playing, especially if you're playing an Abzan limited deck. So another nice house to have out on the board. So having said that, that is the end of today's spoilers. So thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and as always, have a great day.